How's it going, guys? Today we're going to be taking a look at the essential, just the bare bones tools that you should have around that you can use for fixing things around the house and things like that. So let's go ahead, jump into the video. Now this is just going to be a basic video kind of things that you need to have around to fix random things around the house. Now, there are a ton of other tools that I have, and I had a hard time just picking these ones because as I went out to get things, kept getting more and more, and I said, okay, I've got to stop right here the way it is. So there will probably be another video with some more advanced, more shop-related tools, or just all-around preparedness homestead kind of stuff. But for right now, this is just your basic-ish homeowner's toolkit. There are a few other things you'll need depending on what you're doing, but these are just basic tools that'll help you fix your basic things. You know, the other day I went and fixed a chair that broke a leg, light plumbing, different things like that. So basic household stuff. Let's go ahead, bring you in closer here, and we'll talk a little bit about each of these things. Some of the things I recommend brand specific, other things are just general. You can choose the brand. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Okay, so we're going to start off kind of with basic hand tools. Now I've done random different projects over a number of years and accumulated different tools. We're just going to focus on bare essentials. A lot of things, an Allen key set. This one's standard, but you also get metric ones. Usually they come together. I've got a couple of these just laying around, so I have those as well. But just a standard Allen key set. You can pick one up at like Harbor Freight that has the standard and the metric. Just a cheap one for like 10 bucks. Also garage sales, that's where I got this one. It was missing the one. I got it for like $2, and I picked up the one that was missing at the hardware store for like another 50 cents. So different places you can get tools from. You don't have to buy everything brand new, but Allen key set, basic essentials, carpenter's pencils, Sharpie markers, writing utensils. Those are nice to have. A screwdriver. There's a couple different ways you can go with this. This one is a multi-bit driver that also has some small sockets in it, and it's ratcheting, which is kind of nice. I have this one that I've used for a while. I also have just a short screwdriver that has bits in the handle, and then you can change them out like this. I used that for a long time, and now I've gotten a set of screwdrivers, actually a couple. And I would say these are good to a point, but you probably do want to get just a general set of screwdrivers. I have a DeWalt brand one, a set of Pittsburgh ones, a knockoff set that I found at a garage sale for pretty cheap. So different places you can pick them up, but you probably will want to have something like this at some point, as well as just a full-on screwdriver set, because it's nice to have dedicated things like flatheads and Phillips and things like that. Something else I would say specific, brand specific, would be a good tape measure. It might not necessarily be Milwaukee, but quality on this particular one is better than most of the other ones that I have. And I have a ton of different tape measures. Most of them are just cheapo ones like this that you know you can throw in the glove box or in your tool bag, and if it gets broken, oh well. But I have started to go with nicer tools over time. So this Milwaukee 30-foot tape measure has cheater marks on it. This isn't one of their top ones. You can also get one that's like double-sided, which is really nice as well, and magnetic tip, so it'll stick to stuff. But definitely recommend this Milwaukee one. Cutting tool, obviously if you have an everyday carry, something like a Leatherman, that would be great to have for your tools as well. But something specifically, the Milwaukee Fastback would be the box knife or box cutter that I would recommend. Utility knife, I would recommend have a couple of these. I've tried several of the other brand ones that are basically copies of the design that the Fastback is, but nothing is quite as good as a Milwaukee Fastback. So recommend having something like that. General kind of pliers, channel locks, things like that. Nipex or Nipex Cobras, I highly recommend these if you can only get one. I believe this is the 10-inch one. This is great. They look like channel locks, but they're also function well as pliers. They have the locking size thing, so you can be, you know, wrenching on your sink or whatever, put it down, and unlike typical slip joint channel locks where you might lose your size or your place, this stays locked just where it was. So this is super nice, super handy. used this a ton. Also have the baby 4-inch ones here. Those are kind of cute. They have a couple of different sizes, and I think right now on Amazon you can get a set that has like all of them for like 150, 200 bucks. So that is something to look into. And there are a couple other brands. I think Icon maybe, or one of the Harbor Freight brands has a version of this, and several others as well. This push button kind of style has gotten a lot more popular in the last couple years, but I really like these, highly recommend them. Just a basic pair of slip joint pliers. Had these for years and years. I've tried to find another pair just like them and I haven't been able to. These are Cobalt, just good general pliers. Nice size, your 2-size adjustment slip joint, and these are great. I carry these in my bag all the time because whenever you need to grab something or just wrench on something, these are what you need. You can get different size adjustable wrenches. I have a small one that's like a 6-inch or 4-inch, and then this 10-inch one. This is great as well for just general all-around stuff. You need to have one of these. This is a Crescent brand one. I would recommend this one because it's pretty stout, pretty sturdy. There are some other brands that are good as well, but I would say if you can only get one, it's Crescent one in the 10-inch, and then possibly one of the small ones as well. This particular one is about $18 and worth every penny. Other things that I don't have here that I would recommend that you consider or at least have around would be a basic claw hammer, a small level of some kind, great for picture hanging or just light projects, and then some sort of hand saw or something like that. So you have kind of your wood craftsman kind of stuff as well, and then probably some sort of square or something like that, as well as some other just basic little things like some baby pry bars, little crowbars, different things like that help for various different projects. Now you would be surprised when it comes to things like sockets, how often you might actually use them in household projects, building kits of things, just random stuff. A lot of this stuff is more on the light auto repair side, but I've used it for a ton of other just random household projects as well. So something like this is just a general socket kit. I've had this one for years. This is a Task Force one. It's a 75-piece, specifically auto set, but I use it for everything now. As I've gotten into more advanced auto stuff and more complicated things, I've gone out and bought nicer sockets and ratchets and things like that. But having just a general kit like this that has standard and metric basic things like a couple extensions, spark plug wrench, and a few deep sockets covers basically most of what you will ever need to go in your basic household kit. 3/8 and 1/4-inch ratchets, these are okay, but I would say definitely nowadays with the closed head ones, make sure you get a nice closed head one, because these are fine. They've worked well for years, but they're not nearly as nice. And in my experience, I've had a couple of these kind of blow up on me as well. So make sure you get quality when you do this. Task Force is okay. Harbor Freight just got Quinn, Pittsburgh, even nicer things like Icon, Snap-on, depending on what you're doing. Those are more auto related, but I would say if you want, a good light socket set, pick up something from Harbor Freight like a Quinn or Pittsburgh and get yourself a nice, little Icon ratchet or something, because for 30 bucks, this thing is really nice and it'll last you a long time, and it's also got a lifetime warranty. So you can just take it back if it breaks and get a new one. Other things that is kind of more automotive related, but you do use in a lot of household repairs, obviously your ratchets and sockets, but a small wrench set of some kind. I have just a standard and metric set here. Use these a ton. You never know what you might come across. These aren't necessarily 100% essential because most of what you need around the house can just be done with a pliers or adjustable wrench, but having that is a nice backup as well. Now something else we have to touch on in kind of this general household toolkit is power tools. You don't have to have a lot. Most of what you need can be done with a basic drill and impact driver. However, as you get into more advanced projects, just over the years, I've accumulated quite a few power tools, especially in the last few years. There are many, many different brands of power tools you can pick from. I've got DeWalt because that's where I started out, and I've bought into that battery system, but I would say if you want really high quality, things like DeWalt, Milwaukee, and Makita now, you can go into Ryobi, Rigid. Harbor Freight's got several lines of power tools, which have actually become quite good over the last couple of years, but make sure when you're starting out that you look at more or less everything that you might consider getting into. So things like light auto repair, things like 1/2 inch, 3/8 impacts, different things like that you might need later down the line, because it's nice to have things from different brands, but it's also nice to kind of stick with just one brand because you're bought into that battery system and everything as well. So things like DeWalt, they have basic tools like the drills and impacts, random things, and then they have, you know, automotive and stuff as well. Pretty similar with Milwaukee. Just keep that in mind, but I would say basic essential power tools for your household toolkit would be something like basic drill and impact driver. Like I said, you can choose your brand. It doesn't really matter. Of course, kind of pick which brand you're going to go with because batteries are expensive. But bear that in mind. Just a basic drill and impact covers a ton of different projects. To go with that, most of them will come with small batteries and a charger. Make sure you have that kind of stuff, and then a nice bag. Just basic drill bit and impact bit kits. I have several of these just because you break bits or you lose bits with time, so make sure you have all that kind of stuff. And there's specialty drill bits and all kinds of stuff depending on the projects you're doing, but just basic drill bit set and impact driver bit set. Also make sure when you're doing this you get something that has the little ratchet socket conversion for your impact driver. That way if you're doing a little project where you need to have a socket on your impact, you can do that as well. Things to consider depending on what you're doing, maybe buy into extra batteries. I've done this over the years because these little 1.5, 2 amp hour ones are nice. But you know, when you're doing a bigger project, basic kind of more construction stuff, but still along the do-it-yourself side, a lot easier time if you have larger batteries. So things like this you can pick up brand new at the store, or you can just watch places like Marketplace. I've bought batteries brand new off of Marketplace. So I've bought brand new in the box power tools off of Marketplace, as well as things like batteries. So keep that in mind, as well as buying brand new from stores. And then something that's kind of a general, more automotive, but also not. You can use this if you have kids, sports, balls, bikes, anything like that. Would be something like a general purpose inflator. This is a DeWalt tire inflator. This is the #1 bestseller in little air compressors on Amazon. You can pick it up for about $100 on Amazon, sometimes even less. And this thing is just a lifesaver. So road trip time, you know, keep this in your vehicle. If I had to go back and get one tool at the beginning of all this, aside from the drill and impact, it'd be something like this, because this is a lifesaver. And most tool brands will have something like this. This is an example of something. When you're going out and buying tools, look at what all that brand has to offer. Something like this, you can buy a different brand than what you have normally, but it's nice to have everything off of the same battery system. So that's pretty much it for just basic general tools that I like and I recommend you have around. There are a ton of other things out there. I'm not a tool expert. These are just things I have found useful over the years. And also, buy some zip ties, random things like that. Keep those around because you never know when you might need them. So hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful. Hope it gave you a few ideas. If you liked it, give it a big thumbs up. Smash that like button, 2025 style if you're into that sort of thing. And share this video with a friend. I will try and make another video similar to this, kind of sharing some more tools that I have found over the years, getting into more advanced projects that come in really handy and that I would recommend. So stay tuned for that. As always, if you're new here, please consider clicking subscribe. We try and make a new video every week. As always, stay safe and we'll catch you on the next video.